Hello everyone, it's Maria Solitary Witch Tracks here. I know it's been a long time, it's been a couple weeks since I last posted a video. I started my teacher training back on September 9th, and it's been, keeping me on my toes, been keeping me really busy. I have to take 30 hours of classes within 4 months, or a little less than 4 months actually. And it doesn't sound that bad, but I can't take classes on the weekends because I work all day. And so some days of the week I have to double up on my classes, and so I have to take classes Tuesday through Friday, 2 classes on Thursdays, which is today. And then I usually go to class right after work, and then I'm so tired and everything because, it's a hot yoga. But anywho, that's a whole other thing. In today's video, I actually wanted to discuss the importance of shamanic tools and rituals in a shamanic witchcraft journey. We've actually just got done with, I just got finished with lesson 2 in the Shamanic Witchcraft book, and Chris and Charlie are almost finishing up with that. But yes, so today's video is going to be all about shamanic tools and how they help us to journey through the other worlds. There are quite a few shamanic tools that you can use. I actually have quite a few myself that I use in my practice. Not all these tools I'm going to show you I actually really do use. Actually right now I'm wearing my my winter lower world altar cloth. I'm not using it right now, but it's also, I thought it'd be very good for the video just to give that vibe and that feel of shamanic journeying. And within my own shamanic practice, I mainly journey to the lower worlds. It's very, very often, I know I've said this before, and I can't stress it enough, but how I don't journey to the upper world as much as I probably should. I've journeyed a few times to the upper world, but it is not my favorite place to be. I am not a child of the cosmos. I am not a child of the stars. I am definitely a child of the earth. I do a lot of what they call flying, which is journeying within this realm, journeying within the middle world. I do a lot of flying that way, whether it be astral projection or things like that. And I also do a lot of lower world journeying, in which I journey to lower worlds. I journey to the womb of the earth, to, as Chris would tell me, the sacred fire of the earth. I'm not going to go full details about that because with her videos on her channel, she actually has, a really cool group of insiders like myself who get these special new moon drummings every month, and she also does other cool stuff, and she has some cool projects in the works, and I really want to talk about it, but I'm not because it's not my project. But she has some really cool stuff in the making, so please subscribe to her, and please, give her a shout out, watch her videos. She's really awesome. She has some really cool stuff. But the way she we were discussing, I think last week actually, was, journeying to the lower worlds, journeying to that. It's almost, journeying to the womb, the sacred fire of the earth. And so that's all I'll go into that. But that's what I mainly do a lot. I'm very into shamanic lower world practice, very into ancestors, very into just shamanic practices in general, especially since both sides of my heritage have different types of shamanism. And so some of the tools that I use, I don't use this frequently enough, but I do have a mirror, and that is a tool that shamans use. I have a black mirror. Now, it does not necessarily have to be a black mirror. You can have, regular mirrors you use, and they can be of any size or shape. I actually do have a mirror in the back of my altar, which you have seen before in previous videos, and you have seen that in the back of my altar there's this mirror that's flanked by 2 cats, and I use that a lot for reflection. I'm going to show you guys real quick right here. And so yes, though I have that in the back of my altar to mainly, it feels right for me to put that mirror there. So I guess I really do work with mirrors more than I think, but I love having that mirror back of my altar clock because it feels like it's projecting the energies of my altar, of the spirits and the deities I work with, into myself, and we're reflecting each other. And it's really, I don't use it as deflection, as protection, but for at least for that mirror, I use it as reflection into me. And so with other mirrors, such as this, mirrors are not only used for scrying, they can also be used as portals and doorways that act, or portals that act as doorways into other spiritual realms. And they can also be used for protection and healing. So for protection, you can lay mirrors on yourself or on someone you're trying to heal and take care of to reflect any unwanted or bad energies. Or you can actually, kind of like with crystal healing, you can lay mirrors on, certain points of the human's body to facilitate energies that they want. Because mirrors have also these weird energies to them. They're just made, they just look weird, they have this otherworldly feel to them, and so using them for protection or healing, I think, is very beneficial, because they can do so much for the body, and they're almost like conduits, because when you think of them as portals or doorways, they're almost like conduits, so they take the blockages out of the body and let the energies flow properly. But this is a black scrying mirror, and I use this for my journeys to lower world. I'll have it, a lot of my lower world journeys involve Hecate, since she is a guide, a spiritual guide. She has her torchlight, she's a goddess of the crossroads, and I'll put my candle, and I'm just looking at it like you can see it. I'll put my candle right in front. This is not the candle, but it's lit, so I'm put it just to show you. So I'll have my candle sitting in front of it, the flame will reflect into the mirror in the background, and I'll stare into the mirror, stare into the reflected fire within the mirror, and begin my journey to a lower world with Hecate as my guide. And so that is how I use mirrors in my spiritual practice. I think they're very significant and very special, and I think everyone should at least give it a try, but I really like using it. And then another tools of the shaman are spirit bags. So I'm sure most people have heard of, just regular spirit bags. And so this is the first spirit bag I ever made. I actually need to update it. My friend Mandy gave me this bag into which to put it in, and so in it I have a feather, I have crystals, and some herbs. Honestly, I made this like 6 years ago, so I really do need to update it, and I probably need to get a new bag because it's falling apart, but I'm going to keep this, or at least I might just keep it as, remembrance of the past, and have it as an altar decoration, and find a new pouch, make myself a new bag with new crystals in it. But this is the first spiritual pouch I ever made, and spirit pouches are supposed to be pretty much your spirit in physical forms in a pouch. And so in it I have a feather from one of the birds that I really connected with that lived in my parents' house. I have quartz crystal for amplification. I have different other crystals. Honestly, I wonder if I can kind of like poke and see. What's that? No. But I have different crystals in here, and herbs and sage for protection. So all these things that correspond with different aspects of my spirit I put in this pouch. And what you're supposed to use these for is that they help ground you and also help amplify your own spiritual powers while you're journeying or practicing your shamanic practice, so that you don't get lost in those other worlds. At least that's how I view my spirit bags. And so to not get lost in the other spiritual worlds, to help amplify my own energies, to keep me safe, and for just to recognize you, and ground you back to where you came from. So that's what I use this spirit bag for. And then I have a spirit bag that represents, the Morgan and the dark goddesses. And in this bag, it's a deep world journey bag. And in it I have herbs that correspond with dark goddesses, and with the Morgan, the earth, and the lower worlds. So when I'm journeying into lower worlds too, if I'm really like journeying deep, down to Hell's realm, or down to the center of the earth, through the bones of the mountains, and really deep into the nitty-gritty of the lower world, then I will use this to facilitate the energies of the dark goddesses who can travel so easily through those lower worlds. This almost makes passage a lot easier for me, because the herbs and the crystals I have in it really correspond with the dark goddesses and the lower world. And so I use it sometimes. It really, honestly, I made this recently. I made a video about my Morgan pouch, but I've also facilitated it into a lower world journeying pouch, because it does have pretty much the same herbs in it that I would have used for lower world journeying. And right now I think I used it once for lower world journeying, but it's definitely more of like a wintertime kind of use, when you're really forced to reflect inward. And when I get more into my shamanic journeying and practice, I'm going to use this a lot. And then you have other spirit bags. I don't have, those are the only two I have right now, but you have ones for healing, for fertility advice. So you can have one for any kind of rite you want to have, any kind of ritual you want to take on, you can create a spirit bag for it just to help you with those energies of that particular ritual. So if you want to do something for healing and have a healing pouch, or something for fertility pouch, things like that. And then also you have a blindfold or a cover. Chris was telling me of a great idea she did. I don't know if I'm going to use this one, but she has a shawl she places over her eyes. If I can get that, okay. She has a shawl she places over her eyes, keep it away from her mouth so you can breathe, obviously. But with her cloth, and kind of like with this one, I can kind of see through it, and then she said she'll have a candle. Let me grab my candle again. She'll have a candle in front of her, and she'll stare at the flame through the candle, which will induce images and almost hallucinations, kind of, but really like images and things like that you want to induce that journeying into lower worlds and things like that. For me, I like journeying with my eyes closed. So that is not my particular thing. Okay, I'm going to take this off. But that is not my particular, practice. I just thought this is a really cool way, to journey, to have that cloth over your face. But I'm probably going to initiate or create a blindfold of some sort, since I do like keeping my eyes closed. Or like, they have like, dream pillows for your eyes that you can do. And so Chris also gave me a really great idea what to do. I can sew up an eye pillow, put herbs in it that corresponds to whatever kind of journeying I would like to do, and also hot glue some crystals onto it. And so you can put a blindfold on and you just tie it up, and it helps induce that journey, because it definitely blocks out all senses, because sometimes you can see through the seal, the crack in your eyes, and you can see the candles or the light or whatever it is that you're that's around you when you're journeying, whatever lights could be. And so having a blindfold really does help. And so in the meantime, I might use this as just a regular blindfold while I'm journeying. And also knowing that something is covering your eyes, something is preventing you from opening them, preventing you from seeing, really does emphasize and really, creates that strong sense of, I am journeying. I can't, I'm forced to journey. You don't have an excuse to come out of it. No excuse to stay within your body. And so especially when you take away your senses like that. And so I think it is very important to, have something blocking your eyes while you're journeying, especially if you're journeying to lower worlds. And then last of all, but not least, is the drum. This is my drum. Okay, I'll have to scoot back. This is my drum. Okay. This is my drum. Here we go. It's so big. This is my drum. Okay. And with drums, what they do is they help bring an altered state of consciousness. They are made, usually they're made from a tree that the shaman would correspond with as being their world tree. But this I bought from Chris's mom, who's also a friend of mine, and I like this drum because it has such a singing bowl quality to it. It really resonates, and it just puts you in that trance place so easily, and that's why I absolutely love it. And so I bought this drum for her and I dressed it up. But they also would have this is actually made of real wood and real animal skin, probably goat, I'm not sure, but I'm guessing it's goat since it is a bob brand, and it would usually be made out of an animal that would help facilitate journeying to the other worlds. And so you can, as a shaman, you can have many different drums. You can have drums for journeying. This is my trance journeying drum. It's the only drum I have. I would like to have more eventually for different rituals, but usually shamans will have multiple drums, one for journeying, one for healing, divination, prophecy, fertility rituals. They would have so many different drums, and they would be embossed with a different image. So this image, what's particular about this is the sun, the Filipino sun from the flag, because of my Filipino heritage and the Filipino shamanism. And this is, of course, Thor's hammer from my father's side, and the roots just growing here. And this, and so I just have the Thor's hammer here to facilitate roots and growing deep. So this is definitely my lower world journeying drum. And drums are also known as shamanic steeds, because they carry you to those other worlds, whether it be a lower world or the higher world or within this middle world. They carry you to those places. And so you have to treat your drum with respect. You have to take care of it and treat it for respect like you would a horse or for any other animal that would carry you to some place, horse. And Some shamans would give their drums offerings of blood and oil and things like that, and give thanks and pay homage to their drum. But I'm going to drum real quick, just a little bit, because this is absolutely beautiful. I love the sound of it. But we're gonna do some quick drumming real quick, just so you guys know just so you feel the significance of the drum and how it can put you in that trance space. How to run and get my double-headed drumstick, but I'm only going to use one side. Alright, here we go. As you can see, there's a very strong power within the drum, and I want you to feel different. I feel very calm, very easy, as if I did just, a really deep, long-term meditation, and so I love using the drum in my ritual. And if you do have a drum and you paint it, be very careful. Don't, just slap layers of paint on there, because it'll actually flake off because of the vibrations of the drum. And so I mix a lot of water with this paint. So I don't know if you can tell, but there's like a lot of water in this paint, so it's not exactly like you can see through it still. And then, I forgot to show you, on the outside I would burn some runes into it, and they actually tell a story. These runes are part from the Gylfaginning, which is it's from the Poetic Eddas, or the sagas I should say, about how the world came into being out of nothingness, and I can't remember where it starts, but it says even the stars do not know where they came from. And it's just kind of a humbling way to say, remember your roots, remember where you came from, because stars weren't always there, they had to come from something. And so, those are my shamanic tools. So I think it's very important to find tools that really resonate with you, that you really feel in tune with, and they don't have to be expensive. You can make them. It took me a long time to find a drum I like, but I really do love this drum because you heard the resonating tone with it, and for me, that really, really puts me in that place. And having something that's made out of real wood and real animal skin really helps as well. It doesn't help with the weather though, because at Kathy, Chris's mom's wedding, it was very moist outside, very humid, and my drum was so floppy. It was like bleh, bleh, bleh when I was drumming. But I absolutely adore this drum, and I use it for my new moon, my full moon rituals, and along with my other tools. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys have any other shamanic tools that you know of, or you have, please share them with me. I would love to see about them, hear about them. I know there is a rattle, and I would like to make one. And Chris also gave me a good idea. I'm talking about Chris a lot because we talk a lot about this subject, me, her, and Charlie, when we were going over lesson 2. But get a gourd and make a rattle out of a gourd, which I think I'm going to do. But that's on my list for shamanic tools to acquire or to make. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys, if you guys are journeying to the lower world, I hope you have wonderful journeys. And thank you so much for watching. Blessings. Namaste.